Coming up on Inside BC Athletics, the BC women are making their mark and becoming role models for a new generation. Plus, we'll meet 4 women who are defining what it means to be a Boston College Eagle.
This is our pink game. You guys each filled out something for this game that said who you play for, right? Who this game is representing in your hearts. All of us have been affected by it, right? There isn't one of you that hasn't been affected by somebody dying of cancer or currently fighting for their lives.
It was a special night back in early February as the Duke women's basketball team visited Boston College for the annual Pink Game, sponsored by Mass General Brigham.
We have a pink pom-pom giveaway. You'll see QR codes around the arena, and that will take fans directly to the page to donate directly to the hospital.
We all had pink shoes. We were all wearing them. Like, we all had the pink jerseys. It really meant a lot because it's like we really fully represented breast cancer.
All right, let's do it for them. Let's go.
I play for Jennifer Pineda.
I play for Meg McCallum.
Breast cancer is something that has affected a lot of women in our players' lives. They either know somebody that has battled breast cancer or somebody that has maybe lost that fight or won the fight.
I play for Carmen Daniels.
I play for Miss Healy.
I play for Aunt Dawn.
I play for Grandma.
You know, we have one of our own that was an unbelievable player here, Claire Droche. And that's who I really think about because she kind of embodied everything that there is to be when it comes to being a Boston College Eagle.
While the play for Kay, Pink Game, has been a nationally recognized game, it's super special for this team just because of our connection with Claire.
The national anthem singer was a breast cancer survivor, and several other survivors were honored during the game.
Mass General Brigham loves our relationship with Boston College. We've been partners in healthcare and in providing care for their student athletes for a long time now. Our physicians are part of their team. We are fully integrated. Tonight is activating part of that partnership with the Go Pink Game and honoring cancer survivors.
Mass Gen has been super great. We've done several Pink Games,
including a BC women's soccer game last fall, and most recently, a lacrosse game at Alumni Stadium.
We love our partnership with Boston College, and we're really excited about the future because we're looking at doing bigger, better things together.
After 3 years of falling short in this title game, Boston College has finally done it! For the first time in program history, the Eagles are national champions!
It was an incredible day for the program. I think Boston College lacrosse overcame just about every odd that we needed to. And then, we reached that pinnacle. The girls were ready. I mean, they had believed in that for so many years. I think about players like Mel that led the charge and didn't let anybody lose steam, didn't lose hope, and remained focused on the goal. She's an incredible leader for our team. She had a lot to do with that.
I just remember standing there with the trophy, and my dad was like, think back to when you were a senior in high school, could you ever imagine this? And I honestly truly couldn't have.
That's because Melanie Welsh wasn't recruited to play lacrosse out of high school.
I always kind of had in the back of my mind the idea that I would want to try to walk onto a team.
She showed up for the run test, which is traditionally a really stressful time for the girls. And she just blew everybody out of the water. And I just can remember thinking to myself, we don't need to see much more. This kid's got what it takes.
I always knew that one of my greatest strengths as an athlete was my speed.
And it led to a successful freshman season. In her sophomore year, she wasn't so fortunate.
I was honestly really shocked when I got the diagnosis that I had torn my ACL. I had never had an injury before then. I was like, oh my goodness, now I can't play for such time. How am I going to contribute to this team?
Those types of injuries can make or break you. And luckily for us at BC, we have a great support system and amazing trainers. A lot of our players have been better after they've recovered from their ACL.
And she would need that support when at the start of the following season, she tore the ACL in her other knee.
It's devastating for a player, for any player. It's devastating for Mel, especially when she did it twice. But I never questioned her recovery. I never questioned who she'd be when she got back. She's just that kind of kid.
Which brings us to the magical season of 2021. Now fully recovered once again, Melanie was awarded the number 19 jersey for the red bandana game in honor of Wells Crowther.
I grew up outside of New York City, so 9/11 kind of hits closer to home. And I think in sports you talk a lot about being selfless and giving up yourself and your ego for the team, but that doesn't even come close to what he did. So I was just so honored.
In her final season at BC, Melanie academically has already achieved her master's in finance and has a job waiting for her in New York City.
I don't think I would have my master's if I didn't get hurt and I didn't have all those redshirt years to use and continue my education, which I think is the most important part of being a college student.
She wants to be great in all facets of her life. I think what makes her very special is that she does that with an incredible amount of focus, but at the core of all of her focus is, I need to do this for others. I need to do this for my family. I need to do this for my teammates. I need to do this for my school. It's never self-serving.
I'm just such a big believer that everything happens for a reason. BC wasn't my dream school, let's say, when I was a senior in high school, and I could not be happier that I ended up here.
Stay with us on Inside BC Athletics. When we come back, we'll meet two student athletes who refuse to let disabilities deter them from achieving their goals. City of Boston Credit Union proudly sponsors Boston College women's athletics. Today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
She's going to have to go really wide. It looks like Marnie Sullivan from Boston College with the win.
The 800 is also known in the track world as one of the most grueling races because it is the perfect combination of sprinting and endurance. People call it a long sprint. And what I like about it is you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It truly gives me the mental toughness, and I take that mental toughness aspect and put it into other aspects of my life.
But Marnie Sullivan hasn't always been able to do that.
I was born deaf, and I was implanted with a cochlear implant at 3.5 years old. There's 2 microphones at the top. The microphone receives sound, and the processor receives it as digital information.
Marnie originally attended an all-deaf school before mainstreaming to a public school in the 2nd grade.
That all-deaf school is Child's Voice. I am very fortunate and grateful for them every day. They taught me all the tools and skills I needed to thrive academically, athletically, and socially.
She played all sports growing up, but didn't start running competitively until high school.
My father always told me, you've got a great stride. I really think you should look into running in college.
Upon arriving at BC, there initially were some adjustments to make.
In terms of the classroom, I have a mini microphone. The professors wear it. It's a lanyard, and it connects straight to my cochlear implant. I can hear the professor more clearly. I don't hear the background noise. It really allows me to be super focused.
And focus is also needed on the track.
The only disability part that I would even see is at the start line when we tell the starter she needs a flag to drop when the gun goes off.
I don't necessarily need that, but it's nice to have it as a backup, as a visual cue. I feel super supported from my teammates and coaches. Everyone really, really wants you to succeed.
And now she is succeeding at giving back.
Eagles for Equality is a D&I student athlete committee. It started in 2020, and I was not a part of it until this past fall. The president, Sydney Moore, who's on the soccer team, she's awesome. She reached out to me and she was like, hey, we would really appreciate your perspective on this committee. Would you come join Eagles for Equality and be the leader of the disability subcommittee? And at first, I was very nervous because it's taken me 19 years to get to this point to have the confidence to talk about it. But I think it is a super cool opportunity to create something within the committee.
This spring, Marnie is once again focused on the outdoor track season.
Someone asked me a couple weeks ago, they said, if you could go back in time, would you want to be born hearing? And it took me a while to think about that, but I said no. I had to overcome a lot, but I think it has made me a more approachable person. It's also made me look at life more with a holistic view. Growing up, I always was just ashamed of my hearing loss, and I'm now at the point where I'm an open book and I am proud of my deafness. It shows that you can do anything you can put your mind to.
Van Timmeren back to her right. Oh, it was a good move, just couldn't finish, but got the rebound and put back.
She's a strong forward. She can shoot the ball. She can drive to the basket, and then if we need her as a 5, she's right there.
For the cut, cross, puts up. Van Timmeren, denial!
She's very versatile. So she can play inside, and she has that growing up on a farm body, or she can like go and bang with people, and she has that ability with great hands at the 6'2" frame.
On the court, Allie Van Timmeren has all the skills for a successful college career. But getting to this point has not been easy, growing up with dyslexia.
I was in 3rd grade, and my reading fluency just was never like at the levels it should be, and it's still not. They just realized that I couldn't see the words clearly, and it wasn't like a sight issue. It was more just like my letters just flipped around. And so like B's and D's I flip, H's I would always write backwards, P's, Q's, like all of them.
She comes from a really great family, and I think instead of coddling her and babying her with her dyslexia, she has parents that are both educators, and they really pushed her.
My mom and my dad both went to school for special education, so they had like that background of it. So we just like dialed in, and like all through elementary, I wake up at like 6 a.m. and then I'd go do a basketball workout until 7, and then I'd go to school and I'd get extra tutoring in before every school day.
Basketball was her escape, and she was good at it.
Being a very competitive person, I always want to be like the best I could. And so not physically being able to like compete at the level that other students were in reading was very challenging for me.
So as she has done throughout her life, she just outworked everyone else and was accepted at Boston College. Still, there were some adjustments her coach needed to make.
The first few games I was doing well or whatever, and then there was one game and it was a pretty close game, and she drew up a play on like the board, and then I got on the floor and I totally ran it the opposite way. I need to see it like as the court is. Like if the court is facing this way, I need to see the board this way.
Van Timmeren got another.
I always look at her as like a very technical person. Everything has to be really precise for her.
Inbound to Lacey. Van Timmeren inside, good work.
She has like the biggest heart. She always finds a way to like cheer us all up. Like one day we were all like sad after a game or something like that, and her room's like right next door, and she made us all cookies that night.
She is a woman for others. The way she exemplifies what we want to be when it comes to being a competitor on the court, but a great person off the court.
And unsurprisingly, she is excelling in her classes.
This school has the help that students like her need to excel in the classroom, and she takes it to heart because she wants to get not only her degree, but she wants to be in the top of her class if she can be.
This is like the perfect place for me, especially with my dyslexia, because I have face-to-face contact with my professors like every day. I can like communicate with them, hey, I need help with this, or I need to take this test at a different time, and they're so understanding, and so like that's been such a blessing.
Up next on Inside BC Athletics, Belle Smith. She's one of the top lacrosse players in the country, and she's also becoming quite an entrepreneur. City of Boston Credit Union proudly sponsors Boston College women's athletics. Today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
"35 seconds. There's a shot and a score! Oh, Belle Smith!
When it comes time to be in a really good mood or kind of de-stress, I find myself on the field. I think it's just that happy place for me. A lot of that is the relationships you build on the field. I mean, you see after any goal or cause turnover, everyone's going crazy. It's more about that release.
There's a chance for Smith, who finds the far side and scores!
Smith rips and scores! It counts for Belle Smith.
So far this year, Belle is playing the best lacrosse that she's ever played. And I think she seems more focused than ever.
It's definitely a lot of pressure, but I feel like as student athletes and a top 5 program, that's what you live for. I love the pressure. It reminds you that you're a top dog and you're a team that people want to beat, and that's exciting.
Another thing that's exciting in collegiate sports is the opportunity student athletes are allowed now that name, image, and likeness, or NIL, is here to stay. It's something Belle Smith already knows plenty about.
I think when NIL came into the picture, I really wanted to capitalize on it. Athletes never had that opportunity.
She already was running kids' lacrosse clinics in the summer.
I actually created a website for training kids, group sessions, individual sessions. Every single game day, I probably get 10 texts from families in my town that I've trained, and it's just nice to know that not only are they watching, but they're learning. And then it got bigger and bigger, especially after we won a national championship. So I talked to my parents about it and decided to kind of go that entrepreneurship route a little bit more. Lacrosse Unlimited is big for me. I have gone there since I was like 6 years old, so it was really important to me to give back to that company. The DeSimones who run Lacrosse Unlimited have been incredible, not just with Lacrosse Unlimited, but helping me find other brands to reach out to. I'm also working with Maverick, which is another lacrosse brand. That was a recent deal. I'm working with McGovern Auto, which you might see the car in Conti a few times a week. They are a huge supporter of BC Athletics. Really incredible people to work with. It's all about finding a company that you love and they love you back, and it's a really great match. For me, it's all about less is more, right? You want those 4 to 5 companies that you have a really great connection with and work well with, and then anything more than that kind of just waters it down, in my opinion.
Although NIL is part of her life now, Belle remains as focused as ever.
I love the balance of the lifestyle and having to focus on different things at once. I think for me, it's all about that balance. When I'm talking to the companies, I'm making sure they understand that in season, it's BC Lacrosse first. You always put your sport first and academics first, then I think it's a really great idea, and I'm happy they brought it to college students. I think for me, because I played lacrosse my entire life, I never had that opportunity to have a job in the summer or even during the school year, so it's really nice to have that opportunity to still make money while you're working.
And she's not exaggerating about playing lacrosse her entire life.
I started playing in 1st grade. I have 2 older sisters. When you're the youngest of 3, you just want to do what your older siblings do. So when they picked up a stick in 3rd and 4th grade, I already had one in my hand.
Recruiting Belle and getting her to commit here when she was really young, you know, I just remember watching how she celebrates other people's success. And because of that, I think it fills her cup up and she's able to be a leader.
And Belle hopes to lead her team to another national title.
Winning a national championship was a goal of mine, but not just one, but multiple. So to get one in my first year was really exciting, but all it did was leave me 3 more years to go for another.
When we come back on Inside BC Athletics, getting young girls interested in athletics, the BC women become mentors to a new generation. City of Boston Credit Union proudly sponsors Boston College women's athletics. Today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
Use your legs first, and then your so legs first, and then your back. You move your back, and then your arms. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, especially introducing young kids to a sport that a lot of girls don't have access to.
Let's go, Hannah. Right through there. Oh, look at you go.
Oh my gosh. It's honestly just so fun being able to interact with all of the young girls, and we're just having a blast.
Volleyball on 3. 1, 2, 3, volleyball! One of the things I want you to remember when you're playing sports and in your life, be unapologetically aggressive. As females, that's what we do. We're celebrating National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, and what this is 10 of our sports at Boston College bring their student athletes here on the concourse, and they run stations for all the area girls to come in and be a part of and get introduced to all the different sports that hopefully they might become passionate about.
Being the presenting sponsor here today, I think it shows these young girls who will be meeting these collegiate athletes that they matter, they're seen, they're heard. So I think Boston College and the City of Boston Credit Union working together, we open those doors up, we expose these girls to what's possible for them.
I think it's really important, especially for young girls, just to interact and see where you can progress.
I remember being little, like going to basketball games at like local schools near me and just kind of seeing how amazing these girls are, and having someone to look up to, I think is really important.
The Boston Credit Union has been such a great partner with us in supporting women. I think they said it best when they say women are the future, right? And I believe that too, and I think that it shows with the turnout we have today. I know we have over 200 kids joining us today, and I think that's a big thank you to Boston Credit Union.
So the future looks bright for women's athletics at Boston College. But as always, there's still work to be done.
A part of building confidence in our girls is holding them accountable. You know, when we don't meet an expectation, we can't just move the goalpost in. We can't change what our goals are. And even if they fail through that, it's teaching them to continue to go, so that when you do reach your goal, then you feel real confidence. You've overcome things to get to where you want to be.
See you next time on Inside BC Athletics. City of Boston Credit Union proudly sponsors Boston College women's athletics. Today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.